Video editing with AI has been a problem nobody's really solved yet. Image editing, we've got tons of options. But video, it's been a wasteland. Until right now. Because a brand new open source model just dropped today, literally a few hours ago, and it's doing things I genuinely didn't expect to see in an open source tool at this level. It's called Kiwi-Edit, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this one is different. So before I show you the examples, let's talk numbers real quick, because the benchmark story here is wild. Kiwi-Edit was evaluated on OpenVE Bench, scored by Gemini 2.5 Pro across 5 editing categories: global style, background change, local remove, and local add. The top open source competitor before this was OpenVE Edit, with a 2.50 overall score. Kiwi-Edit Stage 3 hits 3.02. That's a massive jump. But here's the part that really got me. It's a 5 billion parameter model, and it's absolutely destroying Vase, which is Alibaba's model at 14 billion parameters, scoring just 1.57 overall. It's beating Ditto at 14 billion. It's beating Lucy-Edit at 5 billion. Kiwi-Edit, with half the size or less of those models, is outperforming all of them across every single category. Now, they did compare it to Runway and Kling, both closed-source giants, and yes, those are still ahead. But the gap is surprisingly small for an open-source model running at this scale. That alone is a massive deal. All right, let me just walk you through what this thing can actually do, because the demos are the real story here. Starting with global style editing. They feed in a video of flowers with the instruction, apply the sketch style to this video, and the output is a fully converted, clean sketch style video. The colors are gone, the line work is crisp, it genuinely looks intentional. Then there's drone footage of this architecture, some dome-shaped building with a city behind it, and the prompt is, apply the cartoon animation style. The output has that punchy, vibrant cartoon look, colors popped right up, and crucially, the structure of the original video is preserved. The motion is intact, only the style changed. That's the key thing. It's not just slapping a filter on top. And then there's a close-up of a girl's face. Prompt is, apply the pop art style. And the result is legitimately impressive. Bold colors, sharp contrast, very authentic pop art aesthetic. Style transfer for video is one thing, but let's get to the more interesting stuff. Next, weather and time of day changes. This is where it starts to feel like a proper production tool. They take a normal outdoor scene and just say, apply the sunny aesthetic, and the output immediately looks like a golden hour shot. Then there's a sunset video where they say, apply the impressive snowy style, and this is the one that surprised me. The entire landscape transforms into a winter scene. Snow on the ground, snow in the environment, all the original details preserved. Nothing looks broken. Day-to-night conversion on an aerial beach shot is another one, and honestly, it looks like real nighttime footage, not a blue filter. Actual night. These kinds of aesthetic changes are huge for creators who want to reuse footage across different contexts without reshooting. Background replacement is next, and this is where it gets really practical. A deer video prompt is, replace the background with a lively urban garden scene during winter, and it does it cleanly. Deer perfectly isolated, background fully replaced. Then a couple with a dog prompt is, replace the background with a dynamic snowy mountain retreat, and in the output, all 3 subjects, the couple and the dog, are cleanly separated from the original scene, placed into snowy mountains, with snow even added to the ground beneath them. That context-aware replacement is impressive. A man doing yoga inside a room gets a mountain sunrise behind him. A person talking against a white background, probably a corporate content scenario, gets replaced with a fully rendered conference room where sunlight's streaming through glass walls and casting actual moving shadows. That's zero-shot background replacement for business video content, and it's working. Object removal is next, and this is technically the hardest category, because you're not just hiding something, you're asking the model to hallucinate what was behind it, frame by frame. First example, a bird sitting on a branch. Prompt is remove the small bird. And the after video looks like the bird was never there. The branch is rendered perfectly. Then a man doing a backflip into a pool, they remove the person entirely. And this is the one that impressed me most, because removing a moving subject across every frame is genuinely difficult, and the model handles it cleanly. Then a video host against a background with text elements, they remove the host while keeping everything else exactly the same, including the text box that was partially behind him. And the output is seamless. There's one example where it removes a girl from a crowded market scene with people walking behind her, and that one's trickier. You can spot some artifacts where it re-rendered the background, but even there, the removal is 90% clean. For a 5 billion parameter open source model, that's genuinely solid. Next, local replacements. This is where the creative possibilities start stacking up. A bread loaf being cut with a knife, they replace the bread with a lush forest, and somehow this works. The knife is cutting into a miniature forest. Wild generation. A dog in an orange sweater gets swapped to a blue winter jacket, and the replacement is clean. No artifacts around the edges. 2 kids and a fabric sofa, prompt to replace it with a leather sofa with visible stitching, and in the output, you can actually see the stitching texture on the leather. That level of detail preservation is what separates this from older in-painting approaches. Then there's local adding objects that weren't in the original video. A girl walking through a forest gets a backpack added to her back, and it looks completely natural, like she was always wearing it. A person talking in a room gets a floor lamp added to the corner behind them. Seamless. A man gets a beard and mustache added in real time, and this is probably the most impressive local ad I've seen. It doesn't look AI generated at all. The facial hair integrates with his skin tone, moves naturally with the video, and it just looks real. And then there's the reference image mode, which is what sets Kiwi-Edit apart from every other open source video tool right now. Instead of just using text instructions, you can also hand it a reference image to guide the edit. They show a black tactical jacket as the reference, a girl in a shirt as the input video, and the output has her wearing that exact jacket matched to the reference. The texture, the color, the style, all pulled directly from the image. They do the same with a chair, reference image of a chair, input video of a man sitting on a sofa, and in the output, the sofa becomes the chair from the reference photo, while the man is still sitting naturally on it. Then a hairstyle reference, she goes from short black hair in the input video to the exact long platinum blonde waves from the reference image. Even background replacement works with a reference image. A hiker in the mountains, you feed it a 3D art style landscape as reference, and it places that exact aesthetic behind him. A man doing push-ups in a garden gets the pyramids of Giza dropped behind him because they fed in a photo of the pyramids. When text prompts aren't precise enough, the reference image mode basically solves that problem entirely. Now, let me quickly explain how this actually works under the hood without making it complicated. Think of it like a team of 3 specialists. You've got a frozen multimodal LLM. This is the brain. It reads and understands your text instructions and your reference image. Then you've got a video diffusion transformer. This is the hands. It's the one actually generating and modifying the frames. And sitting between them is a LoRa adapter, which is basically the translator. It helps the brain's instructions get correctly applied by the hands without retraining the whole system from scratch. The team at ShowLab and the National University of Singapore trained this across 3 stages. First, getting the model aligned to video understanding, then fine-tuning for instruction-based edits, and then adding the reference guidance capability on top. That progressive training approach is why the model punches so far above its parameter count. It's being trained smart, not just big. On the practical side, the model is fully open source. Code, weights, and training datasets are all live on GitHub and Hugging Face right now. There are 8 model variants covering 480 and 720p resolutions. Each model file is around 20 gigabytes. They haven't officially listed VRAM requirements, but based on the model size and architecture, you're looking at a 24 gigabyte VRAM setup to run this comfortably locally. So an RTX 3090 or 4090 should work. If you're running below that, you might need to check the GitHub repo for any quantized options they release later. All the links, the project page, the Hugging Face model page, and the GitHub repo are down in the description. Go check it out, and if you actually try it, let me know in the comments what you end up editing. If you found this useful, drop a like. It actually helps the channel more than you'd think. See you in the next one.